welcome. Thank you very much for creating space today to hang out with me and to explore this topic of soulmate love, and especially what I believe are 5 reasons you're not with your soulmate today, and 10 things that you can do about it. My intention is to create an hour of jam-packed information that's going to help you ultimately gain some clarity about what it is that might be stopping you from attracting or having the love that you want. So a little bit about me, in case you're new and you're not familiar with my work. My name is Gabriel Gonzalez, and I am a transformational coach. I'm also a writer, artist, and I consider myself an avid explorer of the path of the heart. In essence, I love helping people create a life that they love by using the intelligence, the wisdom, and the power of the heart. This muscle within the middle of our chest that actually generates the largest electromagnetic field in the body. So I love helping people create deeper, more loving relationships, experiencing greater health and well-being, while also building a thriving heart-centered business that allows you to fully express yourself and have ample income to do what you love. I got into this work from being a spiritual counselor and a minister when I moved to South Africa almost 9 years ago now. And my experience in this topic of soulmates and relationship came from originally counseling people who were having relationship troubles, who were very depressed, some of them were suicidal, people that were really, really struggling. Their life was changing, their relationships were falling apart. And so as I help people move through their relationship problems, I also started helping them open their heart and welcoming new love into their lives. And literally, the moment I help people clear the heaviness and the guilt and shame that they had been holding in their hearts, literally, they started meeting their soulmates, improving all of their relationships. And that's when I began to realize, gee, there's something here with regards to the heart that is way more than a muscle. It seems like when people are really able to almost like open up the circuitry of their heart, really expand their vibration, their energetic vibration of love within their hearts, not only do they begin to experience greater well-being and health, think more clearly, but they also, all their relationships begin to improve, and even their capacity to create money, because, our money is so related to our ability to relate with other people. When you think of the money that's in your bank account, it's come from other people that you've been in business with, or you've been relating with. So why are you here? Well, if I've done my homework correctly, you are here because you have a deep longing in your heart to experience a different kind of romantic relationship. You kind of been there, done that, got the t-shirt, you've experienced different kinds of relationship, and you're pretty much ready to experience a new level of relating to another being romantically. And you also want to gain greater clarity about what it is that's stopping you from having the love that you want. You're also here because you like to learn how to raise your love frequency and become a love magnet. And ultimately because you're also ready to take full responsibility for creating the relationship that you want. Because the journey begins there. The journey begins when you take full responsibility for yourself and stop relying on this thing that I call just destiny, and just set your heart and your mind and finally start creating a relationship that is deeply fulfilling. So that's why you're here today. If you signed up, if you join me on this webinar. And I'm here today mostly to hold a space for you and share some ideas and stories and help you gain greater clarity on the main reasons why you're not with your soulmate today. And then give you at least 10 things that you can do about it. Okay, so if you walk out of here today, not only with greater clarity about what it is that you might be doing, I'm going to use quote unquote wrong, okay, And not only that, but you have some things that you can actually start taking into pouring into practice, then I'll be really, really happy. Okay. And and in understanding that this journey that I call a path to soulmate love ultimately does rely to a great extent in what I call divine perfect timing. And what I mean by that, it's what most people would refer to as God's will. You know, that in essence, it means that the person that you are going to be in a relationship with, synchronicity, you know, the universe is arranging the time for you, for the two of you to come together. And, you know, and that's really beyond our control. We cannot control that to a certain extent. So we're kind of put this idea of divine timing on the side, and on this webinar, I want you to look at it from the context or the perspective that what I'm really doing here today is inviting you to take 100% responsibility for your experience, for what you want to create, for what you want to experience in your life. And it boils down to personal choices, the choices that you're making right now. And the reason why the work around the heart is so important, because your heart is that central meeting place where the divine and the human come together. You have a physical heart that pumps blood, but then you also have an emotional heart that generates hormones, and then those translate into feelings and emotions, and it is the energetic seat of emotions. But you also have this energetic spiritual heart that connects you to a much greater field. Call it the mind of God, the field of infinite potential. So your heart serves at that place where you can access the wisdom of the divine that will ultimately guide you in the direction of your soulmate, or will inspire you to take those actions that eventually are going to bring you and your soulmate together, okay? And I call these co-creation. So your heart is the true center of co-creation with the divine, where you get to listen to the deeper desires that you have in your heart, but then also you start making very clear, specific choices and begin to do your part. So today, this is what we're going to be covering. First, I'm going to guide you through a brief definition of what this thing that I call the path to soulmate love is. Then I'm going to take you through the 4 stages of this path. Then we're going to explore these 5 main reasons why you're not with your soulmate. I'm going to tell you 10 things that specifically, concretely, you can do about each one of them. And then at the end of our time together, I'm going to let you know how you can go deeper in this work with me by going on a 4-week journey, okay? And specifically, this webinar is also an introduction to my upcoming The Path to Soulmate Love online course that I'm going to be launching next month. But I wanted to give you guys an early peek at what I'm planning and what I'm putting together for you. So what is this thing that I call the path to soulmate love? Well, the core of my work these days is around this thing that I call the path of the heart. That is ultimately the transformational journey that you embark on when you make the decision to love yourself enough to courageously go after 100% of what you believe in your mind and you know deep in your heart is possible. So the path to soulmate love is the path of the heart, but the movement is towards ultimately creating the relationship that your heart is longing for. So this is the definition that I came up with. The path to soulmate love is the transformational journey that you embark on when you make the decision, you make the choice to love, honor, and respect yourself enough to stop settling for less and courageously, that means with all your heart, go after the kind of romantic relationship that your heart is deeply longing for. So what this means is that because the heart is that center where the physical, the emotional, and even the spiritual come together, this kind of relationship that I call a soulmate level relationship is where you feel a deeper emotional and spiritual connection, yet you are physically with a partner that you're going to be calling your soulmate. And it is transformational because in order for you to experience and create this kind of relationship, you will be transformed. Because it's not ultimately about the relationship that you're going to end up attracting, but the kind of person that you will become as a consequence on going on this journey. And obviously, your soulmate as well. And therefore, at the end of it, by the two of you coming together, the two of you will be transformed. As you're about to see a little bit later in this training, you will also be able to transform the world around you. So, who is your soulmate? Well, there are many definitions of what a soulmate is and what a soulmate is not. And my intention here is just to give you what I believe is just the simplest, more down-to-earth definition, taking away all of the romantic idealism that oftentimes we attach to a soulmate, by simply defining this person as someone who is a perfect recipient of your love, and someone who represents a higher level of relating to yourself and the world. Someone also who chooses to join you on the path towards creating a soulmate level relationship, or a romantic relationship that has a strong spiritual basis. So your soulmate is not, the way I look at it, it's not someone that you just share a deep spiritual connection, you know? I don't know if you've ever been into a situation where you meet somebody and you come home and tell your friends, oh my God, we just had this incredible spiritual connection. Well, you know, the truth is that you can have that kind of spiritual connection with a lot of people, but very few people will be willing and consciously will be willing to go with you on a journey and make the commitment towards creating this kind of relationship. So therefore, I would like to say, or I like to believe, that that person is not really your soulmate. It's simply because they haven't made the commitment to be your soulmate by joining you on a soulmate level relationship. You know, I think that the soulmate is like a title that we give a person. Okay, very similar to the title we give, like when you get married, you know, to the person that you end up calling my husband or my wife. So what makes them your husband or your wife is that they make the choice to marry you. So I like to believe that this person that you call your soulmate, ultimately, the reason that they're your soulmate is because they've chosen to be your soulmate. Sure, there is a spiritual aspect to it, but again, you know, there's a lot of spiritual things that a lot of us don't have access to, and at the end of the day, you know, who knows? But what this training is about is making the conscious choice of creating this relationship with somebody who ultimately is the perfect recipient of your love and is a good fit for you, and is someone that ultimately is going to represent a higher level of relating to yourself. Because what the idea of this type of relationship is that it's a relationship that is designed to help you grow, and this person is going to be a mirror to you. All right, the 4 stages of this path. As any path, or if you ever climbed a mountain, you know, normally mountains, if you go to Elephant's Eye, a beautiful hiking space here in Cape Town, it's got different levels. It's got level 1, level 2, level 3, and actually it's got 5 levels, I believe. And so I believe that the journey or the path to soulmate love also has 4 stages. What are these 4 stages? Well, they are the stage of attraction, the stage of welcoming, the stage where you get to now to create and enjoy. That's why I like to say that this is a journey of attracting, welcoming, creating, and enjoying. And the best way that I can describe what this journey, or the most beautiful metaphor I've ever found, it's in a quote by the wonderful spiritual teacher Mark Nepo, who once wrote that the flower does not dream of the bee. It blossoms, and then the bee comes. So the invitation of this path is for you to blossom. Rather than use artificial or just techniques to draw something to you, is to become the best, most amazing, loving version of yourself, in the same way in which a beautiful flower becomes the most amazing, beautiful version of itself. And then once the bee comes, it does not only attract it, but the bee wants to stay. It wants to make love with the flower. It wants to hang out, and he wants to actually help the flower co-create, which is ultimately how flowers reproduce and eventually have their own fruits and seed, and then the beautiful symbiosis, natural relationship that we see in nature begins to happen. So what is the first stage? Is the stage of attraction. And the key here is that during the stage is you become magnetic. And this happens the moment that you set the intention to create this kind of relationship, when you begin to create a clear vision of the relationship that you want to create, when you make the commitment to grow yourself, as I just said, to blossom into the best version of yourself, so that your soulmate can recognize you. And then ultimately, when you begin to raise your energetic love frequency, your magnetism. Remember that everything in the universe, everything in this world generates a vibration. We are energetic beings. So every emotion vibrates at a different frequency. The computer that you're looking into right now, or the mobile phone, the chair, every object in your house generates a vibration. So we are also energetic beings, and our emotions generate vibration, generate a frequency. So the stage of attraction begins to when we exude the frequency of love that begins to indicate to the universe and then to all those potential partners out there, out in the world, that we're ready to receive. In the same way in which a flower opens up and generates a sweet aroma, which is a vibration of smells, and sends this beautiful vibration of love, and then invites the bees and irresistibly draws them to them. So that's the stage one. You need to attract. Once you do that, you need to have something wonderful there to keep, and ultimately to welcome this relationship into your life. So the key is that you become receptive. You know, oftentimes a lot of people do this inner work and they become really attractive and they start drawing people into them, but the truth is there's no room in their life. And so, or they just simply are really lovely to them one day and then they get really angry. And so you're not really emotionally receptive to another person. So the key here is that you become receptive, and you do this by creating physical, mental, and emotional space to welcome this person, by becoming vulnerable, open, and receptive to others, by having the courage to express and reveal more of yourself with every interaction, and by ultimately remaining light, playful, and curious. Okay, in the same way in which the bee that comes in, she wants to play, she wants to be light, she wants to explore the flower. So your job is to create that same kind of feeling of lightness, playfulness, and curious as you start becoming receptive to welcoming these new opportunities for romantic love into your life. So that then you move into the third stage, which is once the person has come into your life and you now begin to, by the way, you could think of the previous stage, the stage that I was talking about, as the stage of dating. Okay, this is the bit of the dance of dating, of getting to know somebody when you welcome somebody into your life. The stage 3, creation, it's where you begin to really learn how to dance with the rhythm of this new relationship. When you really start to get to know this person and consciously now create this relationship. And the key here, it's all about exploring new possibilities. And during this stage, you begin to grow in confidence and in trust and respect for one another. You also begin to deepen your connection at all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So during this time, you're really playing full out and exploring these different ways in which you can connect with this person. And then at this time, you also begin to have the courage to start asking for what you truly want, and using the power of your word, the power of agreement, to start consciously with the other person to co-create this new relationship. Okay, so notice that the pathway to this kind of work, or this kind of soulmate level relationship, is one of consciously relating. So it's about being able to communicate effectively our feelings, being able to be vulnerable, but then also being able to make powerful agreements between the two of us about what it is that works for us, what it is that we're wanting to create by being together. And then this is when you begin to see also in your relationship some kind of a commitment to maybe being exclusive, or maybe even getting married. But this is when you begin now to consciously co-create this relationship. And then you move to the final stage, which is the stage of enjoy. You move through a stage of attracting, welcoming, and now creating, so that you can move into this place of joy, or the key here, taking the light in what you are creating. And now what's interesting about this stage is that I believe is a transition stage where you get to enjoy the fruit of your attraction, welcoming, and creating, and then begin to create new cycles of attraction, welcoming, and creation. Because what I think is really great about these 4 stages is that you never really move completely out of one stage. Every stage includes and transcends the previous one. So in other words, even once you're already creating in the stage of creation with somebody, you're still exuding your attraction. You're still maintaining your high vibe. You're still being vulnerable. You're still having the courage to be yourself. And so as you move into this stage of enjoyment, it's about welcoming new cycles of attraction, welcoming, and creation, where you get to then start experiencing a deeper sense of connection, or a sense of being one with your partner. And then at this moment, it's when the relationship becomes much more consciously a vehicle for transformation. In other words, the relationship becomes a pathway towards your personal development, to healing your deep emotional childhood wounds that can only be triggered when you're in deep, intimate relationship with another person. And then ultimately allowing you to grow spiritually. And when I talk about spiritual growth, what I'm really talking about is your ability to be deeply and unconditionally loving. And then ultimately, this stage, love becomes primarily a way of being with your partner. And everything that you do and everything that you have is really an emanation or an expression of the vibration or the frequency of love that you are exuding and that you are sharing, and that you're also, by being together, you are amplifying. All right, so those are the 4 stages. And notice that you might be moving through those 4 stages rather quickly, depending on your personality, how you relate to people, obviously depending on the different levels of intelligences that you have. It also obviously, it's going to depend on your partners as well. So you may move through them like really quickly, or you may really take your time. The truth is that it is completely an individual process, okay? And the truth is, I break these stages into 4 just so that we can understand them. But the truth is that, it's just like in nature, there are no clear divisive lines. Okay, so oftentimes you might be in a stage of attraction, but then you're also welcoming. Sometimes you're welcoming and you're still enjoying. And so the importance is that we take them apart just so that we can understand them better. And then obviously forget about them and then just simply move into a place of enjoying them. Okay, so let's look now at what I believe are 5 reasons why you're not with your soulmate today, okay? And 10 things that you can do about it. And again, I want to remind you that this is within the context of we're taking aside this concept of divine timing, and we're focusing on what is within our responsibility, what is the things that we can change, the things where we can, that it's our part, okay, that we can do to meet and create this kind of relationship, okay? And so what I'm going to give you is, I'm going to give you each reason, and then I'm going to give you 2 specific things that you can do about them. And then by the end of the presentation, you will have then 10 things that you can do. Number 1, if you're not right now with your soulmate, this kind of relationship that you want is because at some level, you do not really want it, okay? Because let's face it, there's a reason why if you haven't been, if you have not been dating, or if you've been saving yourself, or you've been out of the market, or if you've been single all this time, there's a good reason why you haven't. Maybe you've been dedicated to your personal growth. Maybe you've just been protecting yourself and doing, inner healing work. But here's the thing: the moment that you finally make yourself vulnerable and open to meeting another person, your insecurities will come up, and you're going to get triggered. You're going to have another human being, and so will your soulmates. Okay, it's a two-way thing. So there is an aspect of each and every one of us that does not want to change, that would really like to maintain the status quo. Because the ultimate truth about relationships is that human relationships are probably the most complicated area of life. Okay, they can be really messy and bring up, as I just said, many of our deepest fears and insecurities. So let me ask you, what if then there is a part of you deep within your brain, deep within your nervous system, that just doesn't really want you to be in a relationship because it knows that things will change, that the status quo, it's going to change, that you will no longer have the freedom, the time, the space, that everything is not going to be the way it used to be. Okay? Now, that is called a competing commitment. In other words, behind your intention or the commitment that you have towards creating this kind of relationship, there's another one. There's another intention that is way more powerful than your original intention to create this kind of love. So what are two of the things then that you can do about this? Well, number one, you can find out what that competing commitment is. Okay? And one of the ways you can do this is by asking yourself just a very simple question. What will I have to give up in order to have this relationship? Specifically, what is the benefit? Another question that you can ask is, what is the payoff of being single? What is the greatest benefit that I've had up until now? Maybe it's given you freedoms, but you safety, whatever that may be. So at some level, once you begin to discover what that competing commitment, then you can, number two, either renew that commitment to create that soulmate level relationship, or simply begin to work on what is the assumption that you're making. Like, for example, you might have this belief that relationships are painful, or they might be actually within your emotional body, a part of you that feels blocked. And so you may then need to start working with that aspect of yourself that feels blocked, that closes up, by then maybe working with a healer, a therapist, or just simply being in a relationship with somebody by moving into the relationship. Because, here's the thing that a lot of people, that it took me a long time to figure it out. And it's that we are wounded in relationship, and we heal in relationship. And so there's no better way to do the healing that you need to than by being in a relationship. So once you begin to get really underneath what might be the competing commitment that you may have, and look at or examining those assumptions or those beliefs that you have as to why, what would happen if you ended up really getting exactly that relationship that you want? What is it that you're going to have to give up? And then understand that beyond that, there's just a part of you that is protecting, they're trying to keep you safe, they're trying to preserve your freedom, or want things to stay the way that they are. Now you can negotiate with that aspect of yourself. You can heal it, you can release it, you can let it go. And ultimately just release them or surrendering them by really making sacred the relationship that you're wanting to create. Okay, so those are two things that you can do. The second reason why you might not be with your soulmate right now is because you have a closed heart. And what exactly does it mean to have a closed heart? Well, to me, a closed heart means that your heart vibrates at the lower level or scale or frequency vibration of these emotions that are normally associated with shame, guilt, fear, anger, pride. Someone would call these lower level negative emotions that can oftentimes be quite toxic. And what this does is it keeps you from being magnetic to love, from attracting love towards you. All right, you can immediately feel when somebody's heart is close, because there is a sense of lack of vibrancy. It's really interesting. You know, one of the leading scientists at HeartMath has been working with the golden mean, the golden ratio, 1.618. And what they discovered is that when your heart is fully open, it really vibrates at the golden mean ratio, which is the vibration of unconditional love. And it's almost like one of those Tibetan singing bowls that vibrate this beautiful sound. Your heart literally, when it's wide open, it does that. But when it closes down into shame, fear, guilt, and anger, literally the calibration drops down, and instead of giving you this beautiful like dong sound, it literally goes duck. You know, that's what a closed heart feels like energetically, and therefore it doesn't really attract love towards you. It keeps you from being magnetic. So what can you do? Well, to begin with, one of the things you can do is you can begin to engage in those activities that activate your natural joy. You know, joy is one of the quickest ways of opening your heart. It really truly bypasses that part of you that refuses to move into love and joy. So what are those activities that you enjoy doing? Like, could it be maybe singing, drumming, dancing, humming, chanting? What are those places? Spending time in nature. It's one of the great ways to actually move into this place of raising your vibration. What is that for you? Number two, what about if you started giving yourself the love and appreciation that you're seeking or you're secretly wanting from others? What if you started giving that to yourself right now? See, to me, that's one of the quickest ways to open our hearts, by being deeply loving and appreciative with ourselves, like literally treating ourselves as a 5-year-old kid. Something that you may not know about me is that I recently lost my sister just over a month ago. And obviously, you know, the grief and the pain of having lost my sibling, you know, sent me into a place of shame and guilt, and ultimately a lot of grief and sometimes anger as well. And so what I did during that time to keep my heart open was to begin to give myself a tremendous amount of love and appreciation for where I was at that moment, loving my pain. And by doing that, it allowed me to move through my grief a lot faster. So in addition to these two, can you think of other things that you do? And you know what those are for you, that when you do, you feel a deep sense of love and appreciation and feel like your natural joy has been activated. So this is what I want you to start thinking that you can do to begin to open your heart. The third reason why you might not be with your soulmate right now is because you're hanging on to the past. You're either hanging on to somebody that you either believe wholeheartedly, he is my soulmate and I believe it, but he doesn't want to have anything to do with me. He's not ready yet. I want to change him or whatever. Or maybe you just still have not forgotten someone from your past who hurt you, who lied to you, who cheated on you, who betrayed you, and you're just still holding on to all that anger and all that energy. And that's actually what it's doing. It's keeping your heart close. So what can you do about this? Well, one of the things that you have to do that I highly recommend you do, is that you end those relationships or terminate those fantasies of being in a relationship with specific someone that you know is not ultimately your soulmate, because it's just not going anywhere, okay? Maybe it's a relationship that feels like it's too much work. It's a one-sided relationship you don't feel energetically connected to anymore. You know, when I went on this journey, 5 years ago, one of the things I did was I stopped having casual sex. Because here's the thing, as long as I speak about you, as long as you are involved with somebody who's not your soulmate, energetically, you are giving your energy to somebody else. So that's keeping you unavailable to the person who will really come into your life to really honor, cherish, and respect you. So you owe it to yourself, out of love for yourself, to let go of anything or anyone that is, as I said earlier, is less than what you desire. And number two, one of the ways you can do this is, if it's a person with whom you might be, hooking up with, or somebody that you just, it's like a friends with benefits, or someone that, it's just a relationship not going anywhere, you have a conversation. Just release them, letting them go. Tell them that you decided to move on, that you want something different for your life, and that's it. And then the next thing that you can do, if it's somebody from your past, somebody who may no longer be in your life that you're still holding on to, do some kind of a release ritual. And what I have found really works is writing them a letter. And you can do a visualization or guided meditation where you imagine the cords, the energetic cord between your heart, as if they were cut, as you release them with love and appreciation. And here's a bit of a tip when you do this. When you do this, you're probably going to cry. You're probably going to feel as if your heart is being torn open or apart. But at that moment, I want you to give yourself permission to feel it, to surrender that pain into the greater love within your heart, and to immediately find a place of love and appreciation for yourself, so that you begin to fill your heart right away with love and appreciation, and begin then to replace what has just left your heart with the vision of the relationship that you want instead. So, for example, if you're releasing John, you imagine that you're with John. You see the cuts between your hearts, and I would even suggest that you also cut the energetic cords between your sexual organs, and then say, John, I release you with love and appreciation to your highest good. And now what you're going to do is you replace it by saying, because I get love no matter what, and I know that my true soulmate is on its way to me. And so then you move into a place of love and appreciation and connecting energetically with your soulmate. Reason number 4 why you are not with your soulmate right now. One of the things that I've gotten to understand now from both man's and women's point of view is that the majority of us, at some level, we believe that there's something flawed or deeply wrong or broken with us. And this is expressed in ourselves as a feeling that we're not okay, that there's something broken. And every time we're at that space, again, what we're doing is we're dropping our vibrational level or by energetic frequency to the levels of guilt and shame that basically are the energetics, the emotional energetics that say, I'm not okay, I am not enough, okay? I have to lose weight, I have to have a better car, I have to be making more money, to be living in a nicer house. I've noticed that in my work with clients over the past years, I've noticed that for women, it's always something that having to do with the physical body. My age, I got too much gray hair. It has something to do with your weight, or I have a birthmark or some kind of skin condition or something. Whereas for men, it normally has to do with status and career. Almost like, well, it's more like about the external. So this is my car, my money, my career. I'm not somebody that people will be proud of, who want to be with me. I don't have any money in the bank, and I don't know what to do with my life. So it normally has to do with sort of like direction. So if this relates to you and you identify with it, 2 specific things that you can do about it is, number 1, make peace with your flaw. If it's something that can be changed, change it, if that's what you want to. And if it can be changed, like if it's a birthmark and you don't want to have surgery, then, love and appreciating it by discovering its gifts. Because here's the thing, one of the things I notice about this thing that we call flaws is that what you think is a flaw to you, to your soulmate, to that partner, it's going to be the thing that they like the most about you. In fact, it might even be the thing that it attracted them to you in the first place. Like, you have no idea how many times I've heard, like, oh my God, he likes chunky women just like me, and I couldn't believe it. I've been trying to lose all this weight, and it turns out he likes chunky women. His mom was chunky, you know, the girlfriend that he had was also chunky, and that's exactly what he loves about me. And that's the thing that you were trying to change about yourself. Okay, so oftentimes that thing that you think is your biggest flaw might be exactly what it's going to irresistibly draw your partner towards you. Another thing that you can do is you can write down 25 great reasons why would someone want to be in a relationship with you, and specifically just write down a list of all the gifts that you are going to be bringing into this relationship. Okay, so that by recognizing what it is that you're actually bringing to the relationship, you begin to see your flaw as just it's just like a little, you know, Rumi has this wonderful expression, as a little crack in the vase, just so that the light can get in. So this thing that you think is the crack, but that might be an area of growth, and you know, it's just so that you can grow in love and acceptance for yourself and ultimately for others. Reason number 5, why you might not be with your soulmate right now. You don't have a plan. You have no idea how many times I have conversation with people and they tell me what they want, and then I say, okay, so what's your plan of action? What are you planning on doing to create this relationship? And they just simply say, oh, I'm just meditating and visualizing. And I'm gonna go, okay, and how's that working out? Well, I've been visualizing for the past 3 years and nothing's happened. And I kind of, you know, I kind of giggle whenever I hear something like that, because the sense that I get is almost like these people are just, and I include myself, by the way, I kind of laughing because I did this at the very beginning, especially when the movie The Secret came out, and you know, and we were all studying the law of attraction, that by just setting the intention, by just raising your love vibe, then somebody's going to come knock on your door and say, I'm your soulmate. Here's our marriage certificate. It doesn't quite work out like that. You have to create some kind of a strategy or plan or something, not only to grow yourself into the person that you want to be, but also to get you out into the world and into what I call the natural flow of life. Because here's the thing. You know, there's a natural flow of life, and it's expressed beautifully in the metaphor, the picture of the bee and the flower. See, the reason they come together is because the bee is out there exploring. It's allowing itself to be moved by the natural rhythm of life. So similarly, like you, if you've been resisting the natural flow of life into the passions and into those practices and into those people, places where you find your natural joy and you naturally gravitate towards, then what you're doing is you're stopping the flow. So it's important that you create some kind of a plan that allows you to move into this natural flow of life where literally miracles, synchronicities begin to happen. Okay, so having a strategy or a plan of action with specific activities that you're going to be doing over the next few months is what's going to start this co-creation process. Okay, and here's 2 things that you can do about this. Number 1, you can create a plan of action that is really just a list of activities, okay, or projects that you want to engage in. And my recommendation is that you choose things that feel light in your heart, okay? Because the whole point of this is that you use the wisdom, the guidance of your heart by checking in with yourself. How does this feel, okay? Because I want you to include here activities that allow you to connect with new people in ways that feel natural to you, okay? So if, for example, you don't enjoy connecting with people online, it doesn't feel natural to you, then I don't want you to do that. I want you to only list here things that feel right to you in your heart. And you know this because there's a sense of feeling light, okay? And then, number 2, I want you to let people in your network, your friends, people at work, let them know that you're looking for a relationship. Let them know exactly what it is that you're looking for, okay? And once you let them know, I want you to be open to accepting every invitation that you receive from coworkers, friends, to hang out with them, you know, dinner parties, you know, family dinners, you know, whatever, okay? One of the things that I've seen happen over and over and over and over again is that the majority of people meet their soulmates, or people that they end up being with in their soulmate relationship. They meet them through people that they know. It's like they realize, like, oh my God, we had like 2 friends in common, or we had, 35 common friends in Facebook, and why did we not meet before? So see, this is the part of the natural flow of life around you. You're surrounded by people around you that, if you're willing to just simply connect, let them know what it is that you want, and then allow yourself to naturally flow into those ways of connecting with people that feel right to you. Again, this allows you to be then act on the divine right, perfect timing of the universe, so that then you and your soulmate can come together. All right, those were the five reasons, and those were the 10 steps. Now what? Now, if you recall at the beginning of my presentation, I told you that I wanted to also let you know what it is that you can do next to go deeper in this work. And what I'd like to do now is I want to invite you to join me on a journey. And it is the journey towards the path to soulmate love. About 3 years ago, I created my first online course on manifesting soulmate love. It was a wonderful course. I've had a tremendous amount of wonderful feedback, and it's made a deep impact in the lives of many people. But here's the thing: when I created this online course, I had not really gone as deep as I have in this whole science of manifestation using the electromagnetism of your heart. And so what I decided to do is I decided to create the newer, updated version. And so I'm going to be discontinuing the Manifest Your Soulmate online course. And I'm going to be replacing with a new, full-on, very modern, very highly interactive course at the new Academy of Applied Heart Intelligence. And it's going to be starting on August 11th of course, 2016. And the metaphor, the premise of this course is to take this beautiful story or analogy of the bee and the flower, right? And take you through this exact same journey so that you can blossom. So it is my invitation for you to blossom. How? By raising or helping you raise your energetic love frequency, by opening your heart so that you become receptive to new love, helping you release the negative emotions that have been holding you back. I teach a powerful process called surrendering to do that. By growing in your ability to be self-accepting, confident, and have courage. By helping you create a clear and specific roadmap that's going to help guide you towards this love that you want, this person that you want. And then I'm going to be also giving you new tools, techniques, and processes that are going to help you create the relationship that you want. And there's going to be a lot of how-to information. Okay, that's one of the feedbacks that I got from the original course. Okay, people wanted more how to specifically process. So all of this within the context of these cutting-edge tools and techniques that use the heart's electromagnetic power, give you access to your own inner wisdom and guidance to obviously move you in the direction of taking the action that eventually is going to bring you and your soulmate together. Okay, so the course outline is very simple. It literally follows the same 4 steps of this journey. Module number 1, it's all about attracting the love that you want. So there we're going to be focusing on really raising your vibration. Number 2 is about welcoming new love into your life. Module 3, it's about creating an amazing relationship. And Module 4, about enjoying soulmate love. So just to give you an idea, so some of the topics that we're going to be covering during each one of these lessons, which is going to be delivered via webinars, downloadable audios, there's going to be transcripts, also quizzes and worksheets. This Module 1, you're going to be learning 6 ways to raise your vibration, to become a love magnet, how to create a clear vision of the relationship you want, how to connect with potential partners energetically, even before you meet, 6 effective ways to clear and forgive the past, how to let go of someone that you're attached to, what to do if you're feeling disappointed and have lost hope. In Module 2, about welcoming new love, Some of the lessons include how to get ready for love by playing the 90-day soulmate game. Because here's the thing, one of the things I realized about the original 28-day program is that a lot of people lost enthusiasm. And what I realized is because the element of the playfulness of it of becoming a game was lost. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you how to play this 90-day game. That it's all a game about helping you get ready for soulmate love. Okay, some of the other lessons in this module include 6 effective ways to meet and connect with new people, both online and offline. How to date in a way that doesn't feel like dating. So for anybody, if you're really struggling like to date, what you're going to learn here is going to shift your mind completely about going to reframe how, or you're going to change how you look at dating from now on. How to tell when someone is really interested in you, the key to creating deep, meaningful relationships, exactly what to do on your first, second, and third date. These are things that I constantly get asked, and that you can learn all that. Now in module 3, which is about creating an amazing relationship, some of the topics include the quickest way to your partner's heart, how to communicate effectively with your partner, how to ask for what you want and get it, 6 ways to grow in confidence, trust, and respect, for relationship killing mistakes and how to avoid them, 12 strategies for boosting the connection with your partner, and the key to having the best sex you'll ever have. And then finally, in module 4, that is all about enjoying the soulmate love. Some of the topics or the lessons will include the secret to keeping your love alive even after the initial spark wears off, 6 ways you can use your relationship to grow, how to create a shared vision that will inspire you, touch others, and change the world. Now, the course the details are now on this page. And again, as I just said, the course begins on Thursday, August 11th, and it runs for 4 weeks. It's going to be delivered online via webinars, downloadable videos, audios, worksheets, and quizzes. And what I have not told you yet is that because this is a brand new course that I'm putting out, it's going to be on beta, which means you could consider this a pilot program, okay? And so I'm not going to charge what I'm going to be charging later on once the course is out fully to the public, which is going to be probably around $400. Instead, I'm going to offer you a super deal or a super early discounted price, early bird price of $198 with a special bonus of 1 coaching session with me, but only for the first 10 people that register and sign up and accept my invitation to join me on this pilot program. And the reason I'm making it this cheaper, this accessible, I mean, a single coaching session with me, it's already about the $400 that you would normally pay for the course. But the reason for this is because you're going to be helping me create a great product. I'm interested in hearing your feedback. I'm interested in hearing your experience of the course, so that by the time the course is out of its pilot or its beta test, you've helped me create a wonderful course that is going to really help people come together with their soulmates and experience a deeper sense of love, joy, and connection. And you're going to ultimately be helping me fulfill my life purpose, which is to increase the vibration of love in this planet. Okay, so if this is something that feels right to you, and you would like to be part of, what you can do to sign up for it is to go to this link. I'm going to be sending this link out later on after we finish this with the webinar, and send you the replay if you want to listen to everything that I just shared. But this is the link where you can go and register. So again, the course begins on August 11th. It's $198. There's a special bonus, and you can sign up at appliedheartintelligence.com/early bird love to get in right now. Okay, what else? Okay, so I think that is it, and we're exactly on top of the hour right now. So once again, I want to take a moment to thank you for having joined me tonight. Um, Please forgive me again that we started a little bit late for the technical issue that we had at the very beginning. If you have any questions about the course, if you have any any questions, any doubts, if money is an issue but you still like to be a part of it, please connect with me. Okay. I am interested, again, my main intention right now is to create a wonderful course that will really help people connect with their soulmates and and just increase the love frequency of this planet. So again, thank you so much for being here with me tonight, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon.